Hi scrapbookers, this is Megan and I am here on the Crafty Maven channel today with a free flow Wednesday layout. So for this week I decided to use the color white from the inspiration piece as my starting point. So I had this photo of a friend and her family, and they recently got sealed in the temple, the Mormon temple, and I just was inspired by the stark white in the inspiration pieces. And so that's kind of where I started, and I got a little off track, but that's just what inspiration is for, right? You get a start. So here I am thinking that I really like this transparency, and I like the one that says today, but I'm going to go ahead and cut apart all of them just so that I have them cut apart for future use. But I also liked this one that said capture. So I just kind of set that there next to the photo. And then I'm going to set the extras aside, and I'm going to pull out a couple other pieces of pattern paper scraps, and I'm going to kind of go from there. So here I'm thinking maybe I should use that kind of herringbone pattern as a mat, but then I had this scrap of red and I thought, well, that would be kind of a nice pop of color just to help the photo stand out from the white background. So here I'm trying to figure out how I want to incorporate that card that has the word today on it, because I really wanted to leave the whole card as one piece. But this is where I decide to just cut out the word today, and I really like how this turned out. So I'm just going to cut out this word. So that's going to take just a little bit of time, and then once I'm done with that, I'm going to put it to the right of the photo. And let's see, what else do I do? So here I'm just kind of playing around with that for a minute, and then I decide that the white on the background just kind of looks too white to me. And so I'm trying to figure out which one of my Heidi Swap color shines I want to use. So I sprayed both of them on a white tag, and I decided I didn't like either one of the ones that I had picked out. So then I'm thinking, well, maybe I should just do some more layering behind the photo. I decided to pull out a couple of these cards. I'm using the December 2015 Click Kit for this layout. So I'm just pulling out a couple different embellishments from the kit. Here I'm going to glue down these two pieces of border strips. So there's that one kind of chevron pattern, and then this one floral. And then I had this journaling card that had moments written on it, and I was going to put it on the layout, but then I decided no, I didn't really like the way it looked. It just blocked off too much real estate on the layout, I guess you could say. So here is where I decide, it does need something on the background, so I'm going to try to use my Heidi Swap Tinsel Color Shine to spray onto this package to do the packaging technique, but for some reason my little spray top, whatever you call it, is clogged or something. I don't know, it wouldn't spray out. So I just ended up dumping a little bit out onto the packaging, and then I got a little too much, so I dumped some back in. And then this is where I'm going to just kind of spread it all along the background, and it just kind of gives a little bit more texture to the background, a little bit more watercolory goodness, because you could never have too much watercolor goodness going on. But so here I am. I'm not sure what I went off to do. I think I was just giving it a minute to dry because it kind of did warp the paper a little bit. So here I'm trying to figure out how far apart I want the this layer, this background to be. And I glue that one down, and then I'm going to glue the other side down. And then I'm going to glue the photo on top of it. Maybe sometime I'm going to do that. Oh, you know what? So I decided to glue down the word today first. So I'm just going to use my glue Zots. And I just get those from Michael's. I think they're like $3 or $4. I think they're like $4, $3.99 to be exact. So I glue down the word today, and then I'm going to glue down the photo. But then I was thinking, you know what? I need a little bit more layers behind the photo. At first, my inspiration was to just keep it plain and simple, but as I just kept going on the layout, I just wanted to keep adding more layers behind the photo, and I really do love how it turns out. So behind that floral paper was this really pretty purple. And so I'm going to, first I decided to use some of this Stays On Black ink to edge along all of the pattern papers just to kind of separate each one of the layers a little bit more. So I'm going to glue it down onto that purple paper, and then I'm going to add some ink on there as well. And then I'm finally going to glue it down. Here is where I decide to do a little bit of ink splattering. So I'm going to use my Heidi Swapp Color Shine Tinsel and Amethyst, and then also teal. And if you watch me on YouTube, you will know that teal is one of my favorite colors from Heidi Swapp Color Shine. And so I have to incorporate it on almost all of my layouts somehow. So here I decide that that bottom left-hand corner needed a little bit more embellishing. So I'm going to make a little banner out of that purple paper. And I'm just going to cut it down to be a little bit smaller, and then I'm going to glue it down there. And then I'm going to glue down a little, what is that thing called? Flare badge, or I think it's flare, isn't it? And it says Capture Life. And that cluster down there is done. And again, I just wanted to keep this layout really simple. So this is actually all that I'm going to do. I do end up doing some journaling, and I'm not really that happy about the journaling. I wanted it to be really simple and just not perfect. And because of that, it is definitely not perfect. And I'm kind of a perfectionist. So now that I'm looking at it, it's really bothering me the way that I wrote it out and how imperfect it is. But it's all good. It's okay. I just kind of wished that my writing had been a little bit more consistent. I don't know about you guys, but when I do my journaling, my writing just kind of fluctuates between good and bad and good and bad. So it's always one of those things that just, I don't know. I need to do some writing classes or something, some script classes, which I have been thinking about, but I just haven't done yet. So I finished the journaling, and then I'm going to pull out my Project Life rotary date stamp, and I'm going to put the date on there, the day that they were sealed, and I'm going to stamp it once underneath the journaling, and then I'm going to stamp it a few times up to the right of the photo. And then I think that's it for this layout. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will be back again later this month with a scrap lift layout. So I will see you later. Have a great week. Bye.